Hey y'all, what's up? It's Champagne and V, ready to rock out every Thursday night on PharcydeTV. We are so looking forward to being part of the fam. Shout out to PharcydeTV for hosting Champagne and Conversations. You guys got to check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, Prince Markie Dee.
Hey!
Hey!
What trouble is the bubble in the champagne?
And I don't know if you have anything to toast with. Hey!
Hey!
All right. Welcome. Thank you for coming and joining us on Champagne and Conversations. And today we have our cigar edition. How are you? What's up?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh.
I'm in Miami. Thank you. I'm in Miami. It's a beautiful day and I'm just living life, enjoying myself.
Please don't talk about Miami. I'm going to get so I said to someone the other day, like, I have got to get to the beach. I have got to get to the beach. Like,
yeah, it's beautiful down here. It's beautiful.
Oh my gosh. I'm an earth sign. We're Virgos, so I have to get to the water. That's where I can woosah and get my thoughts together. And I haven't been able to get there. And it's like, so I'm gonna let you know when I'm in Miami. I'm coming.
Yeah, definitely.
Even if I have to drive. That's the idea. Maybe I have to drive. That's it.
For real.
So you were vaping when we were coming on. You tell me a little bit about your vaping. I know we said that you used to smoke, but you started doing that. Do you like that? Because I know a lot of people are really into that now.
Yeah, I used to smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Now you got to understand, I used to smoke 1 pack of cigarettes during the normal day, and then I would DJ for about 4 to 5 hours, and I smoke an entire pack while I'm DJing.
Wow.
So chain smoking, and I was really, really overweight. Hey, Harlem, chill out. I was really, really overweight. I was literally 430 pounds. Like I was big. And
when was this? Wait, was this in the 80s, you mean?
This was, I was never big in the 80s. In the 80s, okay. I had just come out of playing high school football in the 80s. So I was like in shape, you know, but I'm talking about in 2007, 2008.
Wow.
Yeah. I was in Miami and I came down here in 2003. Okay. So I'm in Miami. I'm doing radio. I'm a radio DJ. And plus I'm the DJ at King of Diamonds, the strip club.
Okay.
This is like the most popping strip club on the planet Earth. Like it's every strippers galore, like over 200 strippers. Like it was just bananas every night.
I've been
And
there crazy enough. Yes. On the
yeah,
first day, I've been there.
okay. So I used to smoke a pack, you know, while I'm DJing. And one day I went to a Dolphins game, and I'll never forget it. I had on a gray t-shirt, gray sweats, and some Jordans. And I got to the game a little late, so I had to park kind of far. Everything was filled, and I walked to my seat. And when I got to my seat, I remember sitting down, and I just remember eyes on me. There was like a lot of people watching me. And I'm looking, and they almost had like, well, at least I felt like they had a look of disgust in their face. Like, and then I like looked at myself, and I was sweating. I was breathing heavy. I was like out of shape. And I was like, all right, nah, that's enough. I got to lose weight. I got to get in shape. I don't want to, you know, check out by heart attack or something like that, you know? So then the very next day I went to the doctor. That Monday, I don't forget, I went to the doctor, and the doctor told me I was pre-diabetic. I had blood pressure issues and all types of stuff like that. So from that day on, I stopped smoking. I went and started vaping. I had heard about vaping maybe a week prior. So I investigated it, and this local company that just started selling vaping products. I went to them, and they gave me one. And from when I first tried it, I never touched a cigarette since then. There was like, it was more like 2009, like 2009.
Wow.
I did it. And yeah, ever since then, I haven't touched a cigarette. I smoke cigars.
Yay.
But cigarettes. There you go. Okay.
This one was dipped in whiskey. And then this one, I searched and searched because I was going to send you some Cuban ones, of course, that we really can't have. But this one has the closest to the Cuban flake. I don't know if you can see it. I'm not doing an endorsement for this, just not yet. But this one has the Cuban flake. So yes, so this one is they say this is really good. But I'm going to see if I can get this to you, Jamastron, Honduras Cuban flakes. So yes. Nice. I had to wrap my hair and stuff because I thought we might actually get to smoking. And I'm like, every time I leave a cigar lounge or the club, I have always smelt like smoke afterwards. So I'm like, no, let me cover up. And even at that, it was so loud outside. I said, I'm going to sit inside. But maybe after, you might have persuaded me to do a little something. Yes. So thank you so much for joining us, and we definitely are excited for you to be on Sirius XM radio with Rock the Bells. I have got to really find out from you. So your inspiration as we were growing up, and obviously you all were inspiration. Fat Boys, as we know you originally, was an inspiration to us, and always in the the party scene and that. But now, as we look at what you're doing, and you're actually affiliated with an organization that is, I guess, showing all the love to the legends. Who were some of your inspirations growing up, and even now when you're DJing on Rock the Bells?
Well, you got to understand, I'm a student of hip hop. Like I was birthed in right during the birth of hip hop. During the birth of it, I was fortunate enough to be one of the groups, along with Run DMC, LL Cool J, and Houdini, one of the groups that exposed it to the masses. Yeah. There were groups before us, and so I looked up to them. I looked up to my current peers at the time. I even look up to the future rappers that are coming out, because first off, everybody comes to me and they ask me the question, what do you feel about today's hip hop? Like the fans of my music from back in the day, they don't like today's hip hop because or lacks talent. But the argument that I have is, well, if we continue rapping the way we rap back in the days, then people would have got bored of it and hip hop would have been over. It has to have these changes. There has to be these new styles. But at the end, it eventually circles back and comes back, to the essence, in a sense, So I appreciate these guys, these new artists that come out with this music, and I salute them. So
yes. So and out of that, those that you actually pioneered with, I know you mentioned Run DMC and that, but any of the others that you actually still enjoy listening to, I'm sure, because you're DJing all the time and you do a mix, and
and you add a little of that and the old and the new. So who is it that you really vibe with, you know, from that era?
From the old era, Houdini is like Big Daddy Kane. To me, LL Cool J is the GOAT. Like him and Kane are the GOAT to me. It depends on which day you ask me, you know what I mean? But more LL, just from how he's been able to, change, adapt to every new situation that comes his way, whether it be rapping, acting, like, lyrically, he's just amazing. So he's the GOAT to me. Kane is the GOAT also, just lyrically, like the songs he made. To me, the greatest hip hop record of all time is Ain't No Half Stepping, because of his delivery, the lyrics during that time, like his lyrics were just so far ahead, almost like Rakim. Rakim also is another one, who was way ahead of his time, who's one of the greatest to me. And so from that era, it would have to be them, the Houdinis, those guys. As I stopped rapping and the end of the 90s came along, or even the beginning of the 90s, you got to salute NWA, the end of the 80s. Those guys came and changed the whole scene. They actually recorded songs, and everybody that records a song, you got to understand this. Everybody that records a record, in your mind, when you're in the studio, you're recording a song saying, this has to be played on the radio. NWA was the first group to ever go in the studio and record a song and not even think about the radio. They cussed their butts off. On the original version is the censored version. And then they have a clean version that came out after that. Like normally it's done the other way around. You have the clean version and then you put out a censored version for the clubs. These guys, they were game changing. They didn't care about that. They just wanted their music to be heard. And to me, that's amazing. So NWA is a big group. Even, Ja Rule, I listened to him until my man 50 came around. Me and 50 have a really close relationship. That's my dog. 50's one of the guys I look up to. He used to tell me every day. We were together for 2 or 3 years every day. And he would tell me every day, Mark, watch. I'm going to be the biggest rapper ever. Watch. And like he proved it. I had the honor of interviewing him when I did radio here in Miami. And the first thing I told him was, yo, do you remember up in Bearsville? We used to go to the studio called Bearsville. And if you've ever heard the rumors about 50 recording 30 songs in 1 week, it was true. It was true. I was there in Bearsville. So we used to drive up to Bearsville Studios every weekend. And I told him, that was the first thing I said. I'm like, yo, remember you told me you're going to be the biggest rapper ever? And he did it. 10 million albums, the first album, well, 10 million plus now. The first album, movies, signing different artists. Like, he just was amazing at what he did. So he was somebody that I looked up to, and in a business sense, who's a very smart guy, like really smart, knows what he's doing, nobody knows what he's talking about. And the smartest person is the person that's willing to learn. I always tell my peers, they ask me for advice, and I always tell them, or anybody coming up, surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, because there's, in certain aspects. Like, if I'm going to promote a record, I want somebody that knows how to promote records better than me. I want somebody who knows how to get my record on radio better than I do, because I know how to do it really well. But I want somebody even smarter than me along with me. I want people who know how to shoot a video, who see visions better than I do. Those are the type of people I want to surround myself with. So I always tell people, show me your
friends and I'll show you your future is always
there you go. Exactly.
That is awesome. So, I think that it's something to be said for, as we're talking about foundation and we're talking about, the pioneers, what you were saying to me and resonating as you were saying it is, there is a strength, there is a courage, there is a focus and a discipline, as Doug was just saying yesterday on his live, that's there that gives us that ability to understand how to navigate. And I think that I know personally for myself is why I lean into you guys as legends to say, hey, we're in difficult times. And to some, these times may not have been difficult. There were times before that were even greater. And if that is the case, then how do we move through this to be able to say, yes, we can do this? And you all have so much insight as it relates to the grind, and you do it with just so much, I call it swag now, but it is, it's you don't even really think of it. You just do it. It's just like an internal grind. It's just an internal hustle flow that I respect. And I say thank you for that, because just in what you
Thank
said,
you.
you know, it's so, so, so important. I said it to on a conference call today. People are lazy. You know, they want so much, but you're lazy. How do you expect to get from 0 to 100 and you don't want to do the work? You don't have the vision. You don't have the discipline, the focus. So, you know, even when you all say the things you say it so easy. Like, oh, it's nothing. We just did this. We did that. I'm going to just go in the studio and I'm going to be in there 12 hours. And when I come out, watch what happens. Others will go in there and smoke and smoke and smoke and smoke and smoke and smoke and might come out with one track. You know,
Facts. Facts.
and I'm saying, wow, how does this, you know, so I'm so, so happy that you guys have been able to use your platforms. And obviously those of us that want to ask the questions and ask for those that are asking or wanting to know, how can we, you know, how can we do this? How can you actually make it in these nights, not only in these times, but just in your careers and the things that you dream of? Because I think that with us in isolation at this point, or, you know, what we consider stay home, this is the time for you. Like you said, you've got to learn, you've got to get around smart people, you've got to be able to build and grow. So it's amazing. It's just definitely amazing. And the other thing I think is that you guys don't stop. You just said to me that you're doing Rock the Bells Radio, you're doing your nighttime club, you're, you know, you're working on some other things. So yes, let us know what you have going on, that COVID hasn't even stopped.
Yeah. Well, the most important thing, my passion right now is my foundation. I started a foundation. It's called Spread. It's called Spread Love, and the mission is just basically to empower and help. You know, it doesn't matter, you know, what, we're not really directed towards, you know, one specific goal. It's however we can help, we're going to help, you know, whether it's manpower, whether it's financially, whether it's however. What I've been doing as of lately since the COVID situation is a lot of people, well, when the pandemic first started and the quarantine started, actually, they told everybody, and this is straight from the city officials, government officials, go and buy 3 weeks worth of groceries, you know, stay home, don't do anything, you know, just stay home and stay safe. And what they didn't understand is the average person can't afford to buy 1 week of groceries. So, and then they, you know, unemployment, they offered unemployment, great things, you know, with unemployment, $600 a week plus your regular benefit from the federal government. But what they didn't say is how long it was going to take for people to get that money. You know, that stimulus, how long it was going to take for people to get that money. So there were families that were out, single mothers, most importantly to me, single mothers who worked but didn't have money saved because they're just getting by. They're just paying their rent, just paying their daycare, just providing for their children, that didn't have groceries. So, you know, during the first month and a half, I was just buying the groceries myself, you know, just buying them, and we were shipping them out. And, you know, and anybody in the local area in Miami, Broward, Palm Beach County, anywhere in South Florida could DM the Spread Love Instagram, and we would get groceries delivered, you know, 2 weeks of groceries delivered. And after that, I started this thing I have called Hip Hop Tales. And Hip Hop Tales is basically, I bring artists on my Instagram and we talk about old stories, you know, old hip hop stories that, you know, can maybe make you laugh or inspire you or whatever the case may be. And it's been going real great. And during those Hip Hop Tales, I've been asking for donations for these groceries. And the turnout has been crazy.
Is it a Cash App or is it just a link?
Yeah, it's a Cash App. It's a Cash App right now.
It'll be that?
Yeah, it's Spread Love 305.
Okay. Yeah,
that's the Cash App right now. So we've been like, it's been amazing. I've done 3 shows so far, and each one was like, the turnout was just so good. And we've been able to provide groceries for so many families who needed them, you know? So, you know, of course we haven't had the opportunity to do anything on a major scale. and we will, because
that
we're
is
stuck in the
major.
middle of, yeah,
That is
I
major.
definitely. But I mean, as far as, start, because I really want to start to get the movement out there, but it's hard to do when you have to sit at home, so.
It's major. If you're able to feed one family and they say, Lord, thank you for spread love that provided
Yeah.
this meal for us, you've gotten your wings.
Yeah.
So at this
One day I got a DM from this family, and they were like, we're really bad. And the one thing I don't like to hear, and it drives me wild, it makes me want to do something that moment, is we don't have anything to eat tonight. Like, when I hear that, so it was maybe 11:30 midnight when I read this DM, and I DM'd back, and she answered, and everything is closed at that time. And there's nothing to do. So I literally took the food out of my cabinets and drove them to her house and gave her the food.
Amen.
And then yeah. Like, this is things that we have to do. Like,
Yes.
it's so difficult. It bothers me so much when I see protesting on TV, and then I see looting side to side. Like, when I see, these different things going on, it bothered me so much, because I think we need to come together more. Like, there needs to be more of a, like,
education.
People shouldn't look at this as an opportunity for self come up. It should be an opportunity for everyone, for our race, for our people who have been mistreated in the past and are still being mistreated right now. Like, if we come together with strength, all of us, then we can really make a change. And that's gonna be proof in the pudding this election. Like, I don't want to hear nobody beefing if you don't go vote and Trump is reelected. I don't want to hear nobody mouth none of that. So, yeah.
What do you think about Kanye running?
That's not true. We talked about that today on the show on Rock the Bells. Kanye is a self-promotional.
A marketing.
Yeah, exactly. So, he got a new album coming out. It's called God's Country. So it's all promotion for his album. But I mean, yeah, he needs to stay off of Twitter. Actually, he can stay on Twitter. All he has to do is say, I got a new album coming out. We love him. We're going to go buy the album regardless. He don't have to say he's running for president in order for us to go buy the record. We're going to buy it regardless. So come on, man.
Well, I guess he says Eric B did it, so he's going to do it too.
That's funny.
Funny. I mean, I guess we're going to let Kanye, we can't discriminate at this point.
Yeah, facts.
You created a song, and I was listening to the song and Swing My Way. Was that relative to domestic violence?
Yeah. It was. If you ever see the video, that at the end of the video says this video is dedicated to those who had to endure domestic violence.
Okay.
My father used to abuse my mother when I was like 3 or 4 years old. So I don't have any memories of it, but only stories from my mother and my brother. But yeah, my father used to abuse my mother. She ended up leaving him and taking us, me and my brother, with her, and just providing for us on her own. My mother was I was raised by a single parent, like a mother. She worked 3 jobs. She went to school. She would come home at 10 o'clock at night, every night. And I'd be in the window looking for her to walk down the block. And it was just those times she taught me so much about providing and working and focusing, and nothing comes easy. Everything is hard. Like, I've had girlfriends in the past who would mention to me about, well, I got to, work this job, and then I got to go to school. And I'm looking at her like, and like, what did you expect? You know what I mean? Like,
welcome to life.
Yeah, welcome to life. I mean, she literally used to, once a week, she would come home. In New York, I don't know if they did that where you're from, but in New York, they would have this government program where they would give away these blocks of cheese. And it would just be a deli block. And my mother would be so creative with cheese that whole week. And that one day a week, when we would see her coming down the block and she would have that box in her hand, it would make us so happy, because we knew we was getting macaroni and cheese, grilled cheese. It was difficult, growing up back in Brooklyn, East New York, one of the toughest neighborhoods in New York.
Yeah, my grandparents got it for my parents, because my parents were young when, they had me. And so my father worked, but he actually was on kind of like a riot type of squad for a moment, because he worked Federal Bureau of Prisons, and they were kind of picketing, you know, for pay. And he was out of work making like $1 and some odd. So yes, my grandparents were providing food for them while he was out of work. And it was that cheese my mother spoke of. Same thing.
See?
Very creative. And I also used to talk about like the hot dogs and the pork and beans, and you used to put them in the bowl together, syrup in there, and make it like a little meal. Who knew that was like we didn't have? It was just like it was good, so we just did that. But I think that, and again, it definitely gave us the ability to understand, you know, how to be strong. And even for what you're doing now, you could share those things with, you know, different families. Like, hey, I could teach you how to make a mean grilled cheese. You know, my mother used to do it.
Yo, can I tell you, let me tell you something right now. I make the most amazing grilled cheese sandwich. I promise you. Everybody that eats my grilled cheese, yo, they love my grilled cheese. I promise you. But yeah, definitely, it was difficult times. I mean, we grew up in a. I don't know if you're familiar with what a HUD home is.
Yes, yes, I do real estate also.
So my mother, she actually in New York, there was a HUD home for sale. It was $1. She bought it for $1, but she had to bring it up the code. You know, and like I remember her buying windows, and the next day people would think it's an abandoned home, and they bust the window she just bought out, and we have to wait a month for a new window, and it was just crazy growing up. But my mother taught me to be strong. She taught me that, you know, like we're gonna go through things in life, you know, and we just got to be strong and get through them. And it's nothing is gonna be easy. But the whole thing I was getting into that was saying that my mother, she used to be abused by my father, and then after she got away from that, she in my neighborhood there was this one guy that we used to look up to. His name was Butter, and Butter was like the dude that drove the big 98. You know, he had the gold, and you know, I'm talking like when I was 9, 10 years old. You know, and we saw, oh, there goes Butter, there goes Butter, come through blasting his music and everything. And one day I saw this guy that I looked up to attacking his girlfriend like he was fighting a guy, and I'm looking at him pick her up in the air and slam her on the ground, and I'm 9 years old. And I'm so afraid, but I want to do something. And I never could do nothing that day, you know? Oh, thank God he just stopped and he walked away. I never could do anything, but when I was able to do something, I recorded this song.
I like it.
Sound like, nah, look like, yeah. I've had some experiences like, you know, Heavy D's my twin. We used to call each other the twin. You know, twin, what up? Heaven's his memory alive for sure. I don't even need to do it. He's such a legend. You know, like his music was legendary. I'll tell you a funny Heavy D story. Check this out. One day, I'm driving in my car. I just bought a brand new Mercedes. I was feeling like top of the world. And I'm driving in the city. And there's a lot of traffic. Even the traffic wasn't getting me mad. And there was these traffic police on the corner. And one police cop, she looks at me, she goes, oh my God, oh my God. And as soon as she says that, the light turns green. I hit the gas and I go to the next light. I look at my rearview mirror and she's running in a full sprint towards my car. She gets it. She goes, oh my God, I love you so much. Can I have your autograph, please? I'm like, yeah. I grab her. I was like, who do you want to make it out to? Who you want me to make it out to? And she says, Lisa or something like that. And as I write to Lisa, I'm about to write Prince Markie Dee. She goes, and I love when you go, bun diddly 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 dee. So I write Heavy D on it and I give it to her.
That is so funny.
Hilarious.
Oh my gosh. And she was like, you were like, whoa.
She thought I was Heavy D.
Like me. I thought you really was like vibing with me. Oh man. I know, no disrespect, but I love Heavy D. Oh my God. But again, it was just still so much swag. Just and I guess that was just from the lyrics as well as just the persona, the person, and just the humbleness of the individual was just so amazing.
When I first met Heavy D, I met him at in a hotel. I met him at a soda machine. I met him at 2 a.m. at a soda machine, 3 a.m, something like that. It was the Wipeout tour. I was dating Pep at the time. I woke up in the middle of the night and I was thirsty, mad thirsty. So let me go get me something to drink. And when I get there, he's standing there with his hand on the machine and he's looking at it like figuring out like, you know, what am I gonna get? What am I gonna get? And he looks up and he sees me and he goes, oh my God. He just walks up to me and he just starts telling me how much, you know, he looked up to me and and how much we inspired him, and how much I personally inspired him. And he the thing that I remember the most, he goes, "Listen, I'm Heavy D, you're Markie Dee." Like, that's what he tells me, to try to convince me how much he looks up to me.
No, yeah.
And that kind of touched me. Then he grabbed me and he put me in the biggest bear hug ever. Like, my face is in his chest because he's taller than me.
I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, he's like 6'3", 6'4". I'm 6 foot. So I got my face in his chest, and he's like, "I love you." And I'm like, and ever since then, we've been the best of friends. Like, like,
that is so nice.
I go to his house, he come to my house, we switch cars, like all types of shit. We used to have so much fun. So much fun.
You were blessed to have such amazing people around you, and it actually just allowed for you to be here now spreading love, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
it actually contributed to where you are today. I don't think anything is by mistake. It's all kind of ordained and already designed. We just got
It's God's plan. God's plan.
God's plan, and we just have to really, really rock with it. I love that song. All My Love and All My Time. Because I got to tell you again, I'm sorry, but you surrounded yourself by people I love, because I love Joe too.
Yeah, that's my dog. That's my dog. Yeah. Yeah, I had the pleasure of recording with Joe. I remember at the time, it was right after his first album, and I remember being like, having the distinction of being the first rapper to record with him. And he came into the studio, and I gave him the track, and he took it. He went home. The next day he came back, and he had written his verses and the hook and everything. I was just like, just do you, like, because I love him. So I'm like, I don't want to write nothing. You do you. I just write my part, and you do your part. All right. And he came in and did it, and we had a blast, man. And that record was a big top 10 record for me. Really big in like the Midwest. Like, I remember going to Chicago like 3 or 4 times to perform it, and with him. And we used to have like a blast going out there and just hanging out in the studio and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a good record for me.
Amazing. So what's next for you? Where do you want to go from here? Because you've had an amazing experience in your career. So I know you mentioned that you have a grandbaby, and I'm certain that you're probably just kind of enjoying that. But anything else you have in the forefront that you'd like to do on your bucket list?
Yeah. Well, I've had the distinction of being able to be successful in everything that I've done. Like, I thank God every day. I'm successful when I was in high school playing football. I played football since I was playing Lynn Vets. So from Lynn Vets to high school, I played football. I was successful at it. Won awards, scouts looking at me, everything. After that, I started rapping. I was able to sell millions of records, be in movies, commercials, videos, all sorts of endorsements and everything. After that, I started writing and producing songs, and success again. After that, I started managing producers. I managed, and the writers and the producers that worked on all the Jennifer Lopez stuff, on Genuine, on so many different artists. After that, I started radio. I was the #1 afternoon drive DJ in South Florida. I did morning shows here. I did morning shows in West Palm Beach. Successful at it. I started working in the clubs, and was super successful. Every time I've left one club, within a day, there's like 5 clubs trying to hire me.
I love it.
And now, one of my main goals all my life has been movies, has been to produce film. And I want to act in the movies, but more on the production side of it, as a producer, executive producer. And I have a lot of friends who used to carry bags on the Fresh Fest tour, who I always treat everybody with respect. I always treat everybody with honor. And a lot of people remember that. One person in particular was Andre Harrell, who when I left the Fab Boys, I started writing and producing with my partner, Corey Rooney, opened the doors and embraced us fully, Andre Harrell, because he was on the Fresh Fest tour with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde as a rapper. And he gave us the opportunity, because of that friendship, to show our talents. And we were super successful because of that. And I still have friends who are in film now. People who worked on Disorderlies, on Crush Groove. Ernest Dickerson worked on Crush Groove. That guy, he's like one of the most successful directors right now. He does all the Walking Dead. He done tons of films, all Spike Lee stuff. So there are a lot of people that work in film that I'm going to California. When this pandemic is over, I'm going to wait about 6 months to a year, and I'm going to move to Cali. And because I think I've hit the ceiling in Miami. There's not a lot more that I can do here. And especially in what I really want to do, which is film. I need to be where they make movies at, you know. So Cali's the new destination, probably in the next year or two, that I'll be heading up.
Well,
and
that's
I'll be
great,
getting
but you
into
have
that.
Atlanta close to you too, so you might be able to get one
True
done
that.
faster there.
True that. True
Don't
that.
wait.
True
I
that.
don't like for people to
Yeah.
have to wait too long if
Yeah.
it's something that you want to do. So
True that. True that.
definitely consider it as well.
Definitely. I
You can
might
always
actually.
start it.
I thought about that actually, and I thought about actually like making it a road, kind of like a road trip, and
Yeah.
start in Cali and end up in Atlanta, or maybe the other way around
Yeah,
actually.
the other way.
And
Good.
yeah, and exploring some of those options also.
Yeah, because I think like with Atlanta, I mean, even though it's, a lot of talent already there, there's still areas of opportunity.
Yeah.
In Cali, it's always, they already have kind of the thing. So of course now it's going to have to be, reconsidered how people are going to do so many of the things that they've traditionally been doing. So, I believe now we can get really creative on things that you want to put out there. There's so many online platforms that you can actually air things, and you don't have to go through, that traditional production, if you will, and so.
Well, the only reason I considered California heavily was because I have friends there. I have
Yeah.
people, I have guidance. Like in Atlanta, in film, that off the top of my head, I don't know anyone there. It'd have to be like me coming to Atlanta and just getting my feet wet and really, which I don't have a problem doing. Like, I'm not trying to take advantage of nobody, but like I said, surround yourself with people that's smarter than you.
They'll
So,
come to you.
like,
I'm sure
yeah,
they'll meet you in
yeah,
Atlanta. Where's 50?
yeah.
Is he in New York?
50's in New York, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure he would be happy to meet you somewhere
Oh
to work
no,
on something.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, we actually
Yeah.
talked about scoring some of the stuff he's doing. So I might be doing that soon, actually.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're definitely going to cheer you on into the movie field, actually.
Thank you.
Sooner than later, though. We're going to really hope that you get to that point and you say, you
Yeah.
know what, I thought it would be another 2 years, but look at me, especially since you're on the win now. So
Yeah.
you've been on the upward climb, and it's amazing. And everything you were saying, it was just kind of, just going one way to inspire. And I'm hoping that everyone that's listening was able to take something from what you said and actually apply it to what's going on today. Because, there's so much heaviness. People are worried about what's next and how they're going to manage. And, you all, like I say, as far as the legends, have been able to share so much information and stay so positive and stay motivated with the love, which is what I like to live from, the love, and being able to make it to the next day, and make things happen. So I'm going to really do a call to action and make certain that we spread love, some support, and
Thank you.
I'm going to send you, as the leader of that, some goodies, and we're going to keep in contact, because when I'm able to get to the beach, I'll say what's up.
when they lift this quarantine, definitely come on down. I'll show you the greatest time.
Oh
ever.
my gosh, I am sure, and I'll be so excited. So I cannot wait to get to the beach. I know,
Yeah.
just COVID has to go. Like, get away.
For real.
It's
For
bad.
real.
Yes, but
Yeah.
you stay safe. Keep your family safe. Keep doing what you're doing. We love you. We thank you so much for all that you are contributing, and
Thank you.
so many blessings around you. And it's amazing. I'm happy to even been able to talk with you.
Can I say one thing before we go?
Absolutely.
Okay, the only thing I want to say is a special message to everyone that's living in Florida. The other states, if you're in the same situation that we're in, then this message is for you also. People in Florida, we have to stop not thinking with your head. We have to think with our heads. There's too many people here that are not being safe, that are not being cautious, that are not taking this serious. This is a serious virus that's spreading around, and people have to really don't think about yourself, because that's what a lot of people in Florida are doing right now. That's why 11,400 new cases in one day. They're starting to call this state Florida, like Florida. Like,
yeah,
it's almost like, everybody here is tripping. Like, it just, I get mumbled for words because it just aggravates me so much. I've been, in our club, for instance, like I stay on top of everybody, social distancing, no more than 6 people in a section, gotta have masks, constant hand washing, gloves, whatever you gotta do. The air, it's like an ice box in the club. Air is constantly moving, recycling, and new air is coming in. You have to be temperature checked before you walk in the door. If you have any signs of illness, you're not allowed in. I've heard of other clubs being full capacity,
Sure.
no temperature check at the door, or temperature check at the door, mask on at the door, and when you get inside, you can take it off.
Take all off.
Like
Reckless
living, and it endangers people like me.
Absolutely.
Because somebody could get sick. Yeah, and it's just it's how many degrees of separation there is, and I'm gonna come across somebody that knows somebody that's being reckless,
Yeah.
So please, everybody in Florida, get smart with it, man. This is something serious, and treat it like it's serious. And that's all I want to say.
The legend has spoke. Prince Markie Dee says, stay in the house if you can't do what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
Get a mask. There's plenty of them online. You're in every fashion forum everywhere to get a mask.
If you can't buy a mask, DM me. I'll bring you one. I'll buy you one. I'll send you one. Whatever you need. All right.
What's up? We love you. Thank you so much for champagne and conversation. And we will be in touch. Thank you so much.
God bless.
Have a good one. God bless.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.